You know, speaking of an easy layup, I think that Congressman Ron Paul has nothing but net when he talks about legislation for auditing the gold reserve. Fort Knox and the New York Fed building supposedly filled with gold. He's not convinced, and my guess is neither is Gata.
Well, it's another one. We've been pounding on this table for years. So we were talking this weekend in Toronto. We keep saying there hasn't been an audit since the Eisenhower administration, but one of our people, 1955, said, even then we're not even sure there was an audit back then. I mean, a real official one. And it's the people's gold, and why shouldn't we know it? How a little bit of a cost would it be to really audit what the U.S. really has for its gold reserves? We're supposed to have 8,134 tons. We're not sure we have half of that. And the key to what Congressman Paul said is not just to have somebody going to count some gold bars there, is to find out if they're encumbered or not. Has the gold been swapped out with other countries? And so on, which is why, again, God is suing the Federal Reserve, United States District Court, because they won't answer any of these questions. I have a feeling it's all going to come to light in the year ahead, but unfortunately, like all other scandals, the markets have to blow up first. Whether it's Enron, Madoff, it's always the same thing, and I think this is going to be a stunning development that's going to gain ground as we go on in time.
Well, speaking of stunning developments, Rob McEwen, CEO of U.S. Gold and creator of Gold Corp, made a bold forecast in the past week of $5,000 gold.
Well, he's a little unique and been way ahead of the curve, quite frankly. And the funny thing is now he's just catching up to God, isn't he? Gold Rush 21, our big conference in the Yukon's Dawson City in August of 2005 when the price was $436 and everyone laughed at us.
And, Kroll, nobody's laughing now, Bill.
Nope.
Certainly recognizes the work you all have done, you and Chris Powell there at GATA.
I suppose you get more agitated and excited when things are in the tank. When things go up, you try to look for where you could be wrong and stuff like that. But the public's not there. Most of the Wall Street gold world is neutral to bearish. If you look at all their official numbers, I mean, even the ones that were bullish were only looking for 1,300. So I think the real surprise in the months to come is going to be the explosive nature of gold and silver, and before we get a meaningful correction, which will come, gold cartel or no. So the whole key is this physical market. If it continues to seize up, we could spectacular moves we have been looking for could be around the corner. Right now, the gold cartel has gold moving up in 1% limits per move up. If you look in the recent moves up, this whole move, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%. It's what they do. And, of course, we've caught them. But in controlling it, they're keeping the price too low for too long. They're not getting sticker shock on their price like they used to. For example, real quickly, the Indian premiums used to fall apart on price strength. But now that gold-consuming country, they're ample to import gold at $1,300. This really has never happened before. More evidence that the gold cartel is in the deepest of trouble.
When you talk about 1% moves in precious metals, and we look back to 1979 and 1980, where we did see those huge percentage moves, are you expecting an end game like that to unfold, something along those lines?
Yeah, it used to be the 2% rule, and it started with $2 rule, $6 rule, 2% rule. Now, for the concern, they've kept their gains because they don't want too much excitement to 1%. At some point here, you're going to get, we've long been looking for, it really hasn't happened yet, a commercial signal failure in which these shorts just are forced to choke on these positions. So that's what we'll be looking for. And at some point, the public is going to show up here in gold and silver as the go-to investments, not even close yet. And then you're going to see a mania. And that's when the real excitement starts. And that's all to come. So, we're just getting going here.
A lot of these top hedge fund managers, seems like there's one now almost every week that's waking up to gold, and it's fascinating to watch some of these speculators, billionaires, piling into gold. For instance, Paulson, that huge money manager, invested 30% of his funds into gold several months back. So it looks like this is really becoming the investment du jour. I think, as you say, as the public wakes up to this opportunity, that's when the real fireworks start.
Yeah, if you go on your listeners, go ask their friends, ask 100 of them how many own gold or silver. If you get one. Some studies being done that back were in ownership of gold and silver and shares and something back in the heydays, either it was 1980 or in the 30s and other bull times, was something like, average, say, 28%. Now it's 0.2%. People talk about a bubble. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, everybody's looking for foreclosures, aren't they? And then, of course, stocks and whatnot. And they're missing the investment opportunity of a lifetime right before their eyes, unfolding right now. As we wrap up here, I know that folks are going to want to find out more about GATA and La Metropole Cafe. Why don't you help them direct their web browsers, sir?
Well, my pleasure. Chris Powell does a great job on his email list. Go to www.gata.org. Simple. And I write about the market every day, and I think it's helped some people. People can sign up for a 2-week free trial at www.lemetropolecafe.com, LeMetropoleCafe.com, and it's a pretty exciting time, and it's time for people to do their homework.
Well, sir, as always, we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule for us today, and wish you a safe, profitable week ahead.
And say hello to Peter from me, Chris.
I certainly will. Bye-bye.